This is a little piece about two people. It's about you, and it's about me. And it's about everything of where we're going to walk to, or run to, or have to be dragged to become. It's about the future. It's about a little morsel of time called a generation, and a little bigger morsel called a lifetime. And I ask only one favor of you. Please leave now. Walk up and leave if you don't give a damn. Anyone. Well, look at that. Okay, now look to the person beside you. You see in the future.
Oh my God. Oh no!
Shame! We're fucked!
Anyway. So this isn't a monologue, this isn't a piece of poetry or prose, this is from me to you, for us. We were born in the spring breeze of a brisk and bloody wind. And just as we were beginning to walk, our government was beginning to fall. Fall out of favor, out of reason, and out of touch. We are the 13th generation to inherit this land. This, the first nation of the Enlightenment. And are unaware as to whether such a vessel would sink or stay afloat. The framers of our government set its course, and nonetheless christened the great ship of democracy. Now some have called this nation a sinking ship. No, my friends, this vessel is strong. It has been our navigators who have run off course. Not that this nation is completely indestructible. Granted, we have had our mistakes. Imperfect men cannot make a perfect society. But some courageous men once did try. Men, I believe, similar to us. People who were old enough to know, yet young enough to care, and with great care, went into even greater action. We are the 13th generation to inherit this country of wealthy diversity. Think of it, so many faces and faiths before one flag, and in the land itself, the geology and every climate is represented. It's beautiful and it's beyond the eye. And yet, with this, what else do we have? We also inherit the highest crime rate in this nation's history. And what of the land? It's rich in its beauty and sustenance, has been bought and sold so many times, like some perverse monopoly game to see who can get the most strip malls on Boardwalk. We have sacrificed our hometown uniqueness for corporate symbol convenience ad infinitum. It is not sufficient to say that we have deflowered the land. We have raped the land, and in the cruelest of fashions. But more than that, above all of that, is the 14th generation, and their children and children to come. You know, it took World War I to wipe out nearly an entire generation of young men. Well, today in this country, more neatly and more swiftly than any world war, an entire generation of inner city youth are vanishing, whether it be by gangs, or by drugs, or by the corruption of having to grow up in a society that eats its young. Leonardo da Vinci once told the story of the goldfinch bird who returned to find its babies imprisoned. When she could not release them from their cage, she poisoned them. Better the loss of life, she said, than the loss of liberty. Our children today are unaware of that story. Why is it they have learned the moral all too soon? We are the 13th generation, and we have to solve this. Now, some of you may contest that it's, why should we? I mean, the mistakes are not our own. No, the mistakes are not our own. But the problems are, my friends. The refuse from careless generations before us has piled up. There is no longer room for refuse. There is only room for change. But why must we atone for the sins of our father's generation? Because if we don't, we become our father's generation. We can no longer, the weight of prior mistakes, we can no longer pass down to another generation safely. It is so heavy we will crush them. On top of that pile will rest our mistake, the greatest and gravest mistake of any generation before, the mistake of inaction. Either way, we are the initial tide of what will be a great and a lasting change, my friends. Now, are we to be the devastation like a hurricane's rage? Or are we to be a cleansing shower, biblical in its reach? Let us take the helm from ill-elected navigators and steer this great vessel unto a renewed nation, a mutiny for the ages. We are old enough to know, we are young enough to care, and we are courageous enough to take action. Why? We are the 13th generation!